Hi there, this is Teri from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another Christmas card to share with you, and this is a very quick one. I've used the Snowfront stamp set for all the images, and the sentiment comes from the Itty Bitty Christmas set. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for the various elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, you can take a screenshot and refer to it later. This is the Snowfront stamp set, and it's photopolymer, which is why I'm going to be stamping on my foam mat today. Now, my front panel is normal weight Whisper White. The ink colours I'm using are Smoky Slate, Old Olive, Balmy Blue, Early Espresso and Crumb Cake. Firstly, I'm going to stamp the mountains using Smoky Slate ink, and I'm going to stamp these twice. Next, I'm going to stamp the tree line, and this is in Old Olive, and again I'm stamping it twice. My little house is stamped in Early Espresso ink, and then the road is Smoky Slate. I'm using Balmy Blue for the little pond, and the deer are again in Early Espresso. Then I've got a little piece of ground to go under the deer, and I'm using Smoky Slate stamped off. The tree in the foreground is in Crumb Cake, and I'm stamping that twice. And the little birds are in Early Espresso. Then I have two of the little trees in the set. I'm going to stamp one on one side, and I'm using first and second generation stamping for this. And the same for the other side. So I'll stamp my first generation first of all, and then I'll ink up the stamp again, stamp it off and use the second generation. I'm going to add a little colour to the sky, and again I'm using Balmy Blue ink, and I'm applying this using a sponge dauber. So I'm just picking up the ink, dabbing off the excess, and then applying it to the cardstock using a light circular motion. And I'm just going around the tops of those mountains. I'm not actually touching them, so when I finish there'll be a nice light halo above them. Next I'm going to apply some Dazzling Diamonds glitter. I'm using the fine tip glue pen to do this. So I'll lay down my glue and then just sprinkle the glitter on top. You really want to work in sort of small sections when you use this glue. When you don't use much of it, it dries quite quickly. So just to be safe, work in small sections. I'm using the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set for the sentiment again, and it's this little Happy Christmas one. I'm going to stamp it on a little scrap of Whisper White card, and I'm using Early Espresso ink. And then I'm going to cut this out using the smallest of the rectangle stitch dies. Now this is far too long, so we're going to adjust the size of it. First of all, I'm going to run it through my Big Shot and cut the whole thing. And then I'm going to run it through a second time. Now when I place my die, I'm going to place the right hand side where I want this die cut to be cut, and then I can fix it in position. It will slot down because it's stitched. The die sort of slots into those previously made stitch marks. I'm placing my top plate just after where I want it to finish cutting. You don't want it to recut the whole thing again because that will mess up the left hand side. And there you go. I can now start putting this card together. I have a balmy blue mat to go under my image panel, and then I have an early espresso card base. For inside the card, I've got another white mat, and this I've decorated using a strip of balmy blue cardstock and a strip from the 6-inch Sattles paper stack, and this is also in balmy blue. So this can now be added to the inside of my card. I can now layer my image panel onto my balmy blue mat. And then I can add this to the front of my card base. I've already added dimensionals to the back of the sentiment, so I can now remove the backing and position this where I want it on the card. And that's it, we're all done. A super quick card to complete. And here's another look at my original one, both very similar. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.